Welcome to the Prospectors Radio Show, the talk show for our community. Please welcome Rich Cooley, Indiana gold hunter Dennis Dayton, Kathleen Biffle, and your host, Tim Grimes.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of Prospector Radio. I'm your host, Tim Grimes. Joining me tonight, as always, we got Rich Cooley, Dennis Dayton, Scott Swiftwater. Tony's here tonight as well. And we have a very special guest with us also. We have Dave Hembreewill. He is the chairman on the board of directors for the 10 Mile Mining District in Idaho, right? Am I correct, Dave?
You got that exactly right, my friend.
That was a lot to say, man, I'm telling you. What's going on, Dave?
It's just another wonderful summer up in Idaho. Lots of prospectors up here. Got some new mining activity going on.
Now,
good time in the summertime.
Now, this time of year, do you see a big push of miners coming into the area every year?
Usually in mid-July through mid-August, we see a lot more activity than we do any other time of the year. We have the suction dredgers that are active on the South Fork of the Clearwater River and in some of the tributaries, and there's a lot of families that just come up for their vacation to do a little prospecting. So it's the busiest time of the year for the small prospectors.
Sure. Now, I'm so confused with the whole Idaho thing, and I'm hoping you could shed some light on this for me. They have seasons down there for like dredging and stuff like that, right?
That's correct.
Now, is that on every river or just certain rivers, or is it just, how's that work?
All of the waterways in the state of Idaho have either an established season that's created by the Idaho Department of Water Resources for suction dredging. Mm-hmm. This only applies to dredging. It's not for other types of prospecting. And the seasons vary from waterway to waterway, and the process for applying for the permits varies from each waterway across the state.
Okay.
So they make it as complicated as they possibly can when you're trying to figure out where you want to go and what you want to do.
Right. But like, what about like panning? If somebody just wanted to come and do some sluicing and panning, is that something that they have seasons on and you have to get permits on, or is that something that's kind of just like open?
So it's general open, so anyone who's running a river sluice box and using a shovel, you have an open season that's all year long. There's no restrictions, no requirements for that. The only stipulation there is that you can't have a big crew and be moving more than a quarter of a yard of material in an hour through your sluice box without getting a permit. But the thing is just open for panning and sluice boxing all across the state, as long as you're not interfering in somebody else's, mining claim.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's cool. But in order to be safe, like if somebody went down there, like say I went down there, who would I go see? If I found a spot I wanted to do some sluicing and panning in, who would I go see?
The first thing that you'd want to do is to see if it's open, if somebody has a claim there. And the easiest way to do that in our state is go into whatever county you are, go into the courthouse, look in the recorder's office, tell them what you're interested in and where, and they'll look that up and see if there's an active mining claim there.
Oh, okay.
And from there, then you'll know whether you need to contact you can just go out and do some prospecting.
Oh, okay. So that's cool. All right, good. That helps me a lot. That helps me kind of get some idea of what's going on here, because, I hear a lot of things, and it's like, I need to hear from a source, of how things work. And these, like, dredging seasons, are they a month, 2 months? I mean, how's that work?
On the river here inside our mining district, we have a dredging season that's established from July 15th to August 15th. So it's a 31-day season, and it's still a really arduous process getting your permits for it. And the reason I say that is dealing with the state and getting the actual dredging permit is very simple. You fill out a permit, you give them some sketches and a location where you're going to dredge, and they'll issue you a permit. Mm-hmm. But then you have different processes that involve the Forest Service and the EPA, and each one of them thinks that, they need to put some mitigation of circumstances in there for terms, and it becomes a little bit complicated up here.
Sure.
We're improving the process, ongoing negotiations with the Forest Service. You know, some of it will probably end up resolved through litigation. Some of it will go through their administrative procedures process, and we'll get some changes. But we've had really good luck getting the state to come on board with the science that backs what activity is going on and what the actual impacts are, and they've been working with us really closely. And the federal agencies are a little slower coming along, but we're making some progress. So it's all getting easier, even though it's far more complicated than it needs to be.
Right. It kind of...
That also depends on what river you're on, too, correct?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm just speaking for the South Fork of the Clearwater River. To the best of my knowledge, there's only 3 waterways in the state of Idaho that have this complicated process. Generally, it's just a over-the-counter permit for dredging from IDWR for most of the waterways, and they'll give you a map that shows you what the dates of the season are. And beyond that, you can contact that local Forest Service or BLM, and it's usually just a notice of intent, and you're out there doing your thing. It's far more complicated here. I mean, they use the excuse because we have ESA listed species in the water, so they're really cautious about what they do and how they go through their process, because we all know that we can depend on a lot of the environmental groups to file a lawsuit if they're not dotting all their I's and crossing their T's. So they work at it very diligently, trying to keep out of lawsuits.
Sure. Interesting.
Now, I know AMRA has some claims in your mining district as well, and I think if you're an AMRA member, you can actually go up on that river and pan and just sluice, right, Dave?
Yeah, that is correct. I believe that AMRA's got five claims now that are active on the South Fork, if I've got my numbers correct.
Mm-hmm.
Got some really nice locations up there. Had some guys up this year that did a little panning and sluicing in there, and had a couple of guys that came up and got their dredging permits and are active on AMRA claims. But surprisingly, not that many people showed up this year from AMRA. We kind of expected a few more people to come up and enjoy the opportunity to prospect.
Mm-hmm. Right. See, that, I don't know. It's, I don't know if I'd be deterred more about it because of they only issue X amount of permits, and it's like, so it's like really regulated, heavy, and see, I don't.
Well, I think they did it. I think they issued. I think it was like 56 permits. The state did. So
is that for just that one river, or is that for those 3 protected rivers altogether?
I don't know that. I don't
well,
know, maybe
there was only 15 in the Clearwater.
Only 15 in the Clearwater. So
no. Okay, so let me clear that up.
Okay.
There are 15 plans of operations that were issued by the Forest Service, but there were 56 dredging permits that were issued, and that was specifically in the Clearwater River.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the number is statewide. I think usually it runs somewhere in the 1,100 to 1,300
wow. Okay.
dredging permits total, but I don't have those figures, so I'm not sure.
No, it's a good number, though. Yeah.
I know that of the 56 permits that were issued so far, I've only talked to a total of 17 people that have been on the river. So for all the permits that have been issued, we just haven't seen the people showing up, and I don't know if they just, and we've got a couple more weeks of the season in front of us, and maybe they just haven't had their vacation time and haven't showed up, but we saw a lot more activity last year than we have so far this year.
Yeah, or is it just somebody that's just getting a permit and going, just in case I go, dang, leave it for somebody that can go, because there's not that many. It's like, so do you go and talk to all these miners, Dave, when they're down there? Do you go
until this year, we've done a monitoring process where we were out in the field each day contacting the miners and recording data of material and volumes that they're moving and what they're doing there, so we would have a good, accurate history. This year we've made contact with people just in our travels up and down the river. Our primary focus as a mining district this year is collecting water samples and verifying that these dredgers aren't disturbing any type of toxic chemicals or putting anything into the water, because there's been a lot of comments made by opposition to the activity to this effect. So we're proving that and verifying that that's not actually happening through some water quality tests.
Right. Now, do you prospect, Dave, and mine?
I do.
You do. Now, miner to miner, do you feel that this is really just overregulated?
I feel that it is way overregulated. When you look at the opportunities that are written into the mining laws and how the Forest Service and BLM regulations for them to follow for this type of process, and the program that they've created, I feel that it's a little beyond overregulated.
Okay.
I can understand to a degree why they do what they do, but
Right.
yeah, I believe that they're carrying it too far. The science doesn't back up
Right.
the level of intensity
There
that
you
they
go.
put into the program.
There you go. Right. Exactly.
Well, see, when I got my claims, you know, I always heard like little rumor that, oh, you know, the BLM and the Forest Service, you know, they're gonna harass you and stuff. And I tell you what, I went down there and we had a great time. We weren't harassed or anything by anybody.
Nice.
You know, they just showed up, make sure you had your plan of operation, and then that was it. You know, they said have fun, and you know, we showed them where we were gonna do our mining at, and that was it. You know, we didn't have any problem at all.
Okay, so here's, you know, I'm used to going to states and, you know, like you said, dredging and stuff, where you don't need permits and stuff like that. So when I hear that for a river that size, you know, they only wanted, like I said, 56 permits, I don't know. It's just like, why can't they just open it up for those X amount of months to whoever or however many want to come? Do they really think that it would be that populated with miners that it would create an environmental problem?
Well, you're touching on Pandora's box here. Let me see if I can give you the short version of an explanation for
right.
this, because it's quite involved.
Thank you, Dave.
So this particular waterway has a state water plan established for it, and it is a 303D sediment-impaired waterway. So it has restrictions that are created into this water plan, and one of the things that they have built into the water plan is called a TMDL, and this is a total maximum daily load limit.
Okay.
And they establish for any activity that you can imagine, from snow plowing the road to dust coming off of the outside of the area roads, depositing sediment or some type of a fill back into the river. And so what they've done for the miners is they establish placer mining is allowed to put 317 tons of material into the water during the dredging season, and they try to create a formula to establish how much is actually going to be put in there. And when they originally did this, they used some figures provided by, I won't mention the name, but one of the dredge manufacturers that kind of indicated that the dredges were producing about 20 times a day what they actually produce.
Okay.
And so anyway, make a long story short, they came up with a formula that established that if they had 15 dredges a day producing this maximum amount of material, at the end of 31 days, it would be approximately this amount of material that was allowed for the dredging on this river.
Right.
So that's how they originally established this. And over about the last 4 years, we've collected data that has shown that instead of moving 10 yards of material a day like was suggested by this manufacturer, the dredgers are actually moving about 1.5 yards to 1.75 yards a day. That was why the state went away from the 15 dredge limit and said, we're not putting a limit on dredges. We created the TMDL, and we see that these dredgers, even an unlimited number of them, are still not meeting this cap for the TMDL. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get the federal agencies to come on board with revising their programs yet.
Gotcha.
Still a work in process. You know, we believe eventually we'll reach a point to where they're using the new science and the new data that's been collected,
Hopefully.
and we'll see that change. But it may take litigation to get us to that point.
Sure, but we can always...
I know that was really long-winded,
No,
but I really honestly have to tell you that's the short version. of
Right,
what's
no,
going on.
I appreciate it, Dave. So are we talking about the silt that the dredge produces? Is that what we're talking about here? When you say
I wouldn't like to use that word. It's a redistribution of material that's already in the water.
Right.
You know, it's in the substrate. One of the arguments we've presented is that dredges aren't truly a point source. They create no addition, so if there is no addition, they can't create pollution. And we believe that this is absolutely a fact, but this is the program that has been established by the Forest Service and the BLM and the EPA they believe that they can consider that an addition.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we have never had this in front of a federal judge yet to get a ruling on it. I suppose that is probably coming. There are some lawsuits out there going on that I'm really not in a position to discuss at this point.
Sure.
But I believe that this will come out in litigation, and it will be established unequivocally that the point source doesn't exist in these 5-inch and smaller dredges. But
Yep.
that's where we're at right now. That's what's happening in this particular body of water. Forest Service considers the dredge a point source. The EPA considers it a point source, and they try to establish a limitation on how much material can be processed through it based on that TMDL formula.
Gotcha. But see, what's cool is that you're also a dredger, and and you're a representative and a director and stuff like that. It's really cool because you do it. So you see these things and this is...
Oh, he
this
keeps
is
the BLM
horrible.
and the Forest Service on their toes.
That's what we want, because it's like, if something's malarkey or if it's right. So that's what's cool. I like that. So it's like, I'm glad you're here tonight.
The ammunition any of us as miners can carry is that knowledge of what's going on and what those regulations state, because we have to operate within the parameters of those regulations.
Yep.
But it's surprising how often that some of the representatives from the agencies don't feel like they need to operate with those same rules, and they don't want to allow you the latitude of operating within the regulations. So the more information you can have on what your equipment does and what you're doing and what your potential impacts are, the more success you're going to have dealing with these agencies as you go through this process. And I don't care where you're at, anywhere in the western states where suction dredging is allowed, there are complications involved with some misconceptions that are out there and people that feel like you're creating an impact that's detrimental to fish or a significant disturbance. And, once you start looking at the science and how it actually works, you realize that this isn't true and it's just false propaganda. But it is best to know that and be able to use it to your advantage.
Well, I'm glad you're in our corner.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I'm happy to be here. I've got a very large target on my back, and I deflect a lot of ground fire for everybody.
I bet you do.
He does.
Dang. Well, that's cool, brother. We appreciate it, man. It sheds a little light on things, so to speak. It's because when you hear a lot of different things, you just don't know, and we're not down there, so we have no clue.
Well, see, I learned myself and Dave Brown, because Dave's, he went in half with me on 3 of the claims that we actually got from Dave Hembreewill. And, we learned a lot from Dave. I mean, he's really educated us on, the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. And it's just it's nice it's really good to have him on our side, in the mining district. So it's just awesome to have.
Well, it's good to have somebody like that down there, especially where you're going to go and do some mining that you've never been to and mined, and he knows, you can do this, no, you can't do that. I mean, that's, and hearing it from him would be like, okay, this is definite, you can't do it or you can do it. That's what's cool.
I tell you what, I was really lucky and I'm so glad you shared it, Tim, because had you not shared that post where he had those claims for sale, we would have never got those, because every claim on that South Fork River is all claimed up.
Oh, geez.
Sure.
Every inch of it is all claimed up. And I think Dave still has like 3 more claims for sale, Dave, don't you?
Yeah, the powers to be inside our Northwest Prospectors LLC, they've all agreed and voted on it that they would like to sell 3 more of the claims that we have. So at this time, we do have 3 really nice pieces left that are going to be new opportunities for new miners in the area.
Now, are they on the Clear Fork?
On the South Fork of
South
the
Fork,
Clearwater
thank you.
River.
Yeah,
We've
thank
got
you.
20-acre and 40-acre pieces there that are nice pieces of ground.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 that he has that I wished I had. I wished I had the money to get, because they're 2 40-acre claims that sit side by side. I mean, they butt up to each other. There's 80 acres right there, and then there's a campground that you can, and I forget what campground it is. It's right across from it.
Uh-huh.
And man, we stopped and we looked it and we checked it out, and of course me and Dave Brown, we were salivating, like, oh my God, how can we come up with the money to get this claim?
Okay, here's a question. Dave, do you know how many claims are on that river?
In our mining district, and that's the only accurate figures I have, we have 46 active claims within the boundaries of our district that are on the river. And as near as I could tell, as of September 1 of last year, or just shortly thereafter when we went to the BLM site to verify people getting their paperwork in, there's no open sections inside our mining district at this point in time.
So 40
and I think probably somewhere close to 90 or 93 claims total along the river. I'm not sure, because when I get into the boundaries of some of the other mining districts, I've talked with some of the other boards, but I don't have all the information on what's out there and who's got what located where.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
There is a lot of them.
Is there?
Yes, there is.
I would figure there would be, definitely. So, okay.
Oh
Got it. Dennis?
Yeah, I was going to say, you also have one thing I didn't get a chance to see, and I really wanted to see it. And of course, next year I plan on taking a couple days, because Dave, he invited me up to, do a little bit of hard rock mining with him.
Oh, cool.
And he's got, what's the name of that mine you got, Dave, or are you allowed to say it, or?
Yeah, I can discuss it. We actually have more than one, but the Blue Quartz mine is the one that we're active on. That's where we have our mill site and where we're opening some new adits. Existing adit that we have there, I'm not going to discuss names on that or anything, but we're opening some new veins in that area, and it's a very interesting mineral that we're finding there. And yes, we'll put a hard hat on you and give you see how you like vibrating that jackhammer underground. It'll be an for you.
Oh, it would. Yeah. Hey, I'm in. I'll try anything once.
Now, for the hard rock mining and stuff, do you got to get permits for that too as well, Dave? Or?
Well, and so there's some variables here. If you're doing a milling operation and you're processing your ore, then absolutely there's some permit processes. But as far as extracting the ore, loading it into, getting it out of the area, operations that are underground require no permit processes whatsoever, other than, if you're going to be blasting, obviously you need to have permits that authorize for whatever chemicals you're using for blasting, and you need somebody certified in that. But no specialized permits through any of the agencies when you're doing underground work. Only stuff that would be above ground. If you've got an area where you've got conveyors and you've had to punch roads in and you're loading trucks, then you might need a permit to get your access road built or something like that. But underground, there's no permit process.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Good to know. Thank you. See,
how did that lady do? I remember when I was there, you had a whole bunch of rocks sitting on that table. That lady ever show up and look at some of that stuff, or?
No, Dennis, that's proprietary. I'm not allowed to discuss that without an authorization from my members from our LLC. But
never mind. Did you look at the rocks we gave you?
Some of that rock, and we've done some assay on it, and we're pretty pleased with the mineral that's coming out of a couple of those locations.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. Man.
We've actually, we found some other things that we were primarily focused on the gold, but in two of our veins we've located some other things that may actually pan out to be more valuable for us in the long run than the gold has been. And, one of the other things I want to talk about while we're on here live with a good audience out there, I'm just back from, as you guys know, no communication up there. I've been pretty much out of communication, but I see a thing that I haven't verified this, but I heard that China is going to cut off its exports to us of rare earth minerals, and I haven't verified that that's true. I don't know if that was just social media buzz hype, but if that's actually true, I know we're going to see up in our area a huge insurgence of people prospecting for and developing out the black sands that are in the tertiary gravels up in the Elk City area, because one of the things they established 40 or 50 years ago was the high volume of rare earth minerals that exist in that tertiary gravel. So,
okay.
So if that's really the truth, and like I said, I haven't verified any of that. You see a lot of things on social media that when you look it up, it's not really the truth. So, I heard a rumor, let's just say, and if that's actually any truth to that, you can bet that there's going to be a big insurgence of earth processing in our country, because that's very important to our national defense.
See, I don't know. I haven't heard nothing either on that.
And if you guys remember a long time ago, this was probably last year, I was telling you that China was actually buying a lot of gold, or buying it up.
Right.
And that the people over across seas, like in Africa, for some reason didn't want to sell it to him, and blah, blah, blah. But you guys remember that story. So that's kind of funny that he says that, because if they were buying a lot of it, they were hoarding it.
Sure.
So if they stop, we're going to have to rely on ourselves again, ain't we?
Well, I would think we're capable.
Yeah, I mean, like for steel, steel, copper, everything like that. Can you imagine a lot of the places that we've had and could open back up?
Right. But, where did we get it from before China?
Exactly.
I mean, we
when I was there in Idaho, one of the other things, Scott, when I was on there is, and I didn't, you hear a lot of stuff on social media, and that, everything's true on Facebook, but there was, and I don't know to prove it. I don't know, maybe Mr. Hembreewill can let us know, but there was a sighting of Bigfoot there in Idaho.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he driving a truck pulling a camper?
White truck? I don't know. I don't know if he drives or not.
Have a bandana around his neck?
No, I didn't even wear the bandana.
Oh man, come on. You didn't?
No. And I meant, like I said, I meant to get a video of some of the dredgers down through there, but when I got around to doing it, it was like after a rain and there was nobody there, so I kind of shot that one in the foot. But
I tell you one thing, and I know Dave can vouch for this too. But, we didn't know what to expect. This is our first year going. Learning it. We learned a lot since we were there and from Dave. We know what to do next year to, make sure we got all our I's dotted and our T's crossed. But
sure,
the ones that have claims or even want a vacation down there, they're in that little town of Elk City. Their grocery store that they got there is so reasonably priced. It's actually it was cheaper to buy groceries through them than it was buying them here at home and taking them with us.
Yes, it is.
See,
and
now
she
you
cuts the meat
learn.
right there too.
You learn something.
Biggest steaks I've ever seen for sale. I mean, I couldn't believe it. We're not buying any food on our way down next year. It's all going to be in Elk City.
I don't blame you. Yeah, that's the best thing to do. Spend the money there where you're doing your mining and stuff. Give it back to them. I mean, why not?
Not to mention, for miners, if you guys need bigger provisions, like if you want cases of stuff, you could order it. It comes in on Tuesday. You can pick it up Tuesday.
Oh,
cases.
Wow. That's cool. Hey, Scott, are you filling a swimming pool with water or something?
What?
Do you hear that, Rich?
Yeah, I heard something. Somebody said sounds like he's on the road.
Yeah, say something, Scott.
What are you talking about?
When you're talking, it sounds like you're filling a bathtub with water or something while you're talking. Are you taking a bubble bath? Or are you with us?
No, I'm sitting here on the chair.
I thought he's in jacuzzi or something.
I know, right? Weird.
Shoot. It's 100. It's right here. I'm sitting outside, and it's about 110 right now. Maybe 111.
Oh, Jesus, man. So, Scott, you know Dave then, right? You met him?
Yeah.
Talked to him and stuff like that? Okay, cool. While you were down there on your adventure, and then Dennis knows him, and, so that's, like I said, I think it's pretty impressive, Now,
yeah, so, Dave, what's your plans for next year?
Yeah.
Where are you going to...
It's a long process. This is where we're at for Northwest Prospectors and what we're doing in our mining operation. We'll have a 10-year, it'll be approved, the NEPA process will be finished, and this is over on our placer operation. How that will turn out and where we will end up when we get operational, I'm unsure, but our 10-year plan will be in place next year, and then our plan is to work that and probably work that most of the summer we're going to try to get our adits developed, get our portals in, and get our air system in our new adit over on the Blue Quartz mine. We may have to wait another year for our NEPA process to finish up there to get our mill approved. And our mill is really nothing more than a rock crushing facility, and then we're shaker table, free mill gold on that, and we're putting our ore and hauling off all of our ore and all of our waste rock from the site. But there is a process that we have to go through in the NEPA to get that approved. So we may be a year away from being able to crush rock up there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's what we're doing for our business end of it. Now, personally, I intend to take an opportunity to get back in the river and suction dredge again next year. I enjoy the underwater thing. It's a whole new world when you put a mask and a regulator on and get underwater.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's when it really gets good. Now, if anybody's got any questions for Dave, they can give us a call at 419-520-7574. Phone lines are open, and I'm sure Dave will do his best to answer your questions that you might have. So, yeah, so that's cool. Is there any other places you like to go dredging, Dave, other than Idaho, or is that pretty much where you stick and stay?
Well, there was this state over on the coast and down south a ways that I used to really enjoy going dredging in, but we haven't been able to do that for a few years. Spent some time up in Alaska dredging. That's a different environment. Water's pretty cold up there, but I spent 3 years over in Oregon when I was working for Brand X Corporation over there, and we did a lot of dredging in the waters over there. Mm-hmm. Had a lot of fun in some of that area, but now we all know that they've got serious restrictions on most of the rivers over there that drain into any of the oceans or any of the river, the tributary of any of the rivers that go down to the ocean. So
right. Gotcha.
Some complications for a lot of the water over there, but
always.
Right. 3 steps forward, 5 steps back.
Uh-huh.
Welcome to the world of being a small-scale miner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Amen. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
I know when I went to the North Fork of the Boise with a friend of ours in here in our group, he invited me up to his claim. It was pretty easy for our permits. I mean, whenever we were supposed to do it, I sent my permit in and got it back, the dredging permit, and got it back in no time.
Yeah, typically, if you're in state and you do the application at one of their offices, they'll hand it to you right over the counter when you get your dredge permit, and then, they'll advise you to contact either the Forest Service or the BLM wherever you're at and discuss what you're doing with them. But as far as getting the permit, literally for most of the waters in the state, you can go right straight into one of the Department of Water Resources' office, and it's called a letter permit. Literally, you fill it out right there, hand them their money, and they hand you the permit back, and you're operational that day.
That's cool.
Now, what is the cost for the permits, Dave, if you live in state or out of state?
Well, in state is a $10 fee. Out of state's a $30 fee. So there's really no dollar amount that's you're not looking at a $700 permit or anything like that. It's very affordable to get the dredging permit. And then if you're going to run a high banker outside of the stream channels and you need to get a water usage permit, it's called a temporary water use permit, and that's $50 for that. And you pick your seasons in the general area that you're going to be doing your operation, and then they issue you that permit. Mm-hmm. And that's really all the more complicated it gets unless your operation is large enough where you need a plan of operations with the Forest Service or the BLM. And then, of course, if you have a plan of operations, there's going to be some type of a surety bond involved once they approve your plan. Mm-hmm. And that varies. That could be anywhere from $205 to, $10,000, depending on how big your operation is and what you're doing.
Okay.
Yep, that's about right. That's what we had to do, just the dredge permit and then the water permit. Yeah.
Okay. See? So it's some cases it's not too bad. Just according to
depending on what
river you're on, obviously. That seems like some areas are more regulated than others, is what I'm seeing, and so that makes the process maybe a little tougher for some areas. But
yeah, I'll tell you what, I was coming down, back down through Grangeville over there by the salmon, and I seen 2 dredgers on the Salmon River, and it was really funny. It's because they were like 10 feet apart, maybe 20 feet apart, And I know, like on the Clearwater, there's a rule you got to be 800 feet apart from the next guy. So
really,
I thought that was a real big difference in rules right out of the bat. But
yeah,
well, and probably one of the things those guys didn't realize, they don't have any BLM or Forest Service regulations that apply to them, because the Salmon River waterway, it is literally the state of Idaho allows dredging on that based on they own the water, and there are no mining claims allowed in that area. You can't locate claims, so you have 100-foot separation between each operation. Those dredges shouldn't have been that close, but they don't have this really arduous process of having to have an 800-foot separation both directions like you see from a lot of the Forest Services. And I think a lot of that 800-foot rule came from some papers that the EPA put out a few years ago when we had another administration and another direction that Washington was headed at the time. So
right,
we haven't seen those changes come down yet. We anticipate it. We're 2 years into a lot of changes and a lot of improvements, but we still have a ways to go.
Right, because I was going to say, what is the difference? Why is it that they got to be 800 feet apart? Is it because of that silly thing he was, is that because of that they got to be so far apart? I know, like me and Dennis, if we're dredging here, we want to be close to each other where we could talk to each other, and holler at each other. Sure.
It's been that way. So, and I'm just putting words out here that I can't really prove and verify, but I've seen these documents that were written by these studies and for some of the consultations, and National Marine Fisheries and the EPA both had the same opinion on this, that there needed to be a minimum of 800-foot separation because of the disturbance created by these dredges. Now, I'm not using my words, I'm using their words.
Right.
And they considered anything closer than 800 feet significantly disturbing potential habitat. Now, the ridiculousness of that is really, really easy to see when you look at the science behind all the different studies that have been done on the activity. But this was their opinion, and they wrote it into their opinions. And during the process of these consultations, this became part of the process that the Forest Service adopted, and the EPA also adopted that in their processes. So when you get a permit from the EPA, if you agree that you need an MPDS permit and you go ahead and get an MPDS permit, it's going to state in there that you need to have an 800-foot separation between you and any other operation. So,
okay.
But the science doesn't back up their opinion. That's ideology and not science. And,
right.
And then, unfortunately, there's a lot of that still going on, even though we're seeing a lot of changes in staff and personnel in the higher offices in the agencies. We still got a ways to go to get beyond the point to where ideology is preceding science.
Right.
We still see it every day.
Sure, right. Of course you do.
And you can't beat science.
Right. And you're right there on the front lines.
But
so.
you argue it and follow your ideology unless somebody tells you your job's at stake, I suppose.
Yeah. Then they sing a different tune, right? Mercy.
It is odd how that very thing happens when you serve them with a notice of cease and desist and you describe the activity and threaten them with a notice to sue. We never like taking a play out of the page book that the environmentalists use against the agencies, but sometimes the only way you can get them to the table to negotiate and discuss the science and apply it is following that process. They don't like that notice of intent to sue. When they read what you tell them why you're going to sue them and they look through their regulations, they go, oh my gosh, we really are out there in left center field. We need to do something different here.
Sure. Now, is this something like that you all meet on like every year or something, or is it something that should be met on every year? All these groups come together and discuss this to make these changes, to show the facts and show the proof and stuff like that to make these changes? Or is this something that just happens when somebody does that?
Well, so that's a complicated question, unfortunately.
Sorry,
so
Buck.
we have a lot of communications between the mining districts, and there are quite a few active mining districts in the state, and we also get a lot of support and a lot of input from groups like AMRA and some of these other chapters of some of these different groups where the miners are organized, and we do have a loosely knit organization that way. Unfortunately, we're not as well organized as we should be. It's just I use this analogy, and I've heard it said before, typically we're A-type personalities, most small-scale miners are, and getting us organized and together on any subject is like herding cats with a leaf blower, and, that's sadly true.
There's questions in the chat room there.
Go ahead, Rich, read them off, buddy.
It says, how about sniping and metal detecting along the waterways? Do you need a permit for that?
You do not. You can snipe and you can run a metal detector along any place that isn't somebody's active mining claim.
Oh, okay.
And this says, question for Dave. It says, is there thought that the lack of miners on the river are some of the permits being issued to non-miners due to non-miners applying for the permits?
I don't believe that that's the case with this, because there are no limits to the number of dredging permits that are available, so there would be no point for non-miners to do that other than if they were simply just trying to overburden the state, because the state's required to come out with a fisheries biologist and inspect each one of these sites where they're applied. So there's an expenditure there that they have to absorb. But with plans of operations with the Forest Service where they have a limitation of 15 of those, I could see how that might be the case, but typically we haven't seen that occurring. Everyone who goes through that process of getting a plan of operations with the Forest Service and paying them a bond, they've been on the river, and the ones that couldn't show up for whatever personal reasons during the dredging season, they would come later and do their assessment work and some prospecting. So I don't think that's really been an issue. Not to say that it couldn't be in the future, but I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it. That's good.
Back to what you just said about coming out. So basically, when you're loading up all your gear, you get out there at your claim, so-called. You got to contact them and have them come out and check your area first, and they got to tell you where you can go and where you can place your stuff at before you prospect?
No, not for prospecting, but if you're going to get a dredging permit for activities below the high water line that are mechanical in nature, whether you're running a high banker with a suction nozzle or just running a high banker and you're shoveling the gravel below the high water mark or running a dredge, the process goes like this. Your application goes in, I believe that the beginning is April 1st, is the first window of opportunity to apply for your permit, and they establish dates, and it's listed on the IDWR website. They will say on this date in June, we will be out to inspect, and you don't have to be there to inspect. Part of your application process is to provide them with an accurate map that shows you where you want to dredge, and they delineate off 150-foot sections, 2 of them. You can move those sections if you don't like where you're dredging or for whatever reason, but this is what they start you out with. And they come out and with the fisheries biologist, and if you're available, you can meet with them then, and then they also have another date in July, just before the season starts, that they will come out, and if somebody wants to meet with them, they pretty much have already delineated everything out by that time, but they will meet with you again so you can talk with them on the river and go over the details. And then beyond that, the dredging season begins on July 15th, and if you have somewhere you want to move to, or for some reason what you thought you marked on your map wasn't where you got delineated, they will come out and move you without any problem at all. You contact the fisheries biologist at the local district ranger's office for the Forest Service, which is in Elk City. He will come right out that day, redelineate you a spot, and he will email that to the state and let them know that he's moved you and that he's delineated your area for you. So
do they have to put a flag or something at your spot when they checked it?
It's beautiful pink ribbon and beautiful white ribbon with blue polka dots on it.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, now Randy Lewis asked, can a Canadian get a permit?
You can get a dredging permit if you're live in a different country. You cannot own a mining claim in the United States unless you're a citizen of the United States, but a non-citizen can get a dredging permit. You would just need a location that isn't under claim or have someone who owned a claim giving you permission to dredge on their claim, or, like be a member of AMRA or the GPA or some of these other groups that have claims, and then you could go dredge on their claims. But
okay.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Okay, well, that's cool. So, Randy,
I've got a scenario for you, Dave, because I know some of them were asking me before. Say I put in and I get my dredge permit with the state of Idaho. All right, now I've got my dredge permit. but then the Forest Service or whoever it is doesn't give me whatever permit because I didn't turn in a plan of operation. They're saying that I can't dredge those waters, even though the state gave me a dredge permit to dredge. Could I still go out there and dredge on my claim since I got a dredge permit?
All right, so I knew somebody would force me to answer this question. This is our belief, and this is a legal position that we hold. This has not been proven in court, so this becomes an opinion of mine and an opinion of our legal counsel. In the state of Idaho, Idaho has primacy over the water and the water beds. So any substrate below the surface of the water between high water mark to high water mark, Idaho owns that. It is their property. They can issue you a dredging permit, and in all reality, we believe, and one of our positions in one of the lawsuits that we're processing is that the Forest Service or the BLM has absolutely no authority over that water in any way, shape, or form because it's actually removed from their territory. It's not within the boundaries of the National Forest. It is the primacy of the state of Idaho to own and control all water in the state. Mm-hmm. So our opinion is that the Forest Service will probably cite you, and one of the environmental groups will probably third-party list you in a federal lawsuit. And at the end of the lawsuit, however far it would drag out, we believe that you will be upheld in your right to mine and dredge just on your state permit. None of this has gone beyond theory and conjecture at this point. We haven't ever had an opportunity yet to push this all the way through the court system. So it's do it at your own risk. But our best interpretation of the laws is that you would be in the scope of what is legal dredging just under a state-issued dredging permit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting.
Now, bear in mind that is an opinion, and we have not tested this yet, so please don't hold me accountable or liable for anything.
Right. Exactly. A little disclaimer there. That is, okay, see, that's a good one. Thank you, Dave. Good one to know. Yeah, see, I would think that the Forest Service, their land ends there. That's it. We're the Forest Service. That's water, you know? That's Idaho.
Well, and not to get into a lot of the legal angles of this, but there was a very large water rights case that was settled back in the mid-'90s, and it drug out for a lot of years, and it was a very, very ugly process. But one of the things in that settlement agreement was it very clearly established that the state of Idaho has primacy over its waters in this state, and there is no gray area in that. There's been a lot of times that they've just allowed the Forest Service to do this or that, or this agency or that agency or some other group. But at the end of the day, it's very clearly written in statute that they have the primacy over this water. So,
right.
Like I say, we have not tested this in court to prove what we believe is a solid legal point. And, maybe next year this time or the year after, once we've finished a couple of these litigation processes, I'll be telling you, yes, we were right, or please start a GoFundMe page. I need bond money. I don't know which way it might go.
One or the other, right? See, good to know. No, it is. Really is. It's good to know.
Yeah,
definitely is. I mean, I may never get down there, but it's good to know because there's a lot of our listeners that, from that area, prospect in that area, or want to go to that area. So it's definitely good to know. And then even our own Dennis and Scott, So.
Yeah. One other thing, Dave, I wanted to get in too is if someone listening is wanting to get a claim, and I think you're about the only one that has claims left for sale, how would they get a hold of you or contact you to find out more information about it?
Well, as much time as I'm spending in the field right now, Dennis, probably the easiest way would be for them to get a hold of you somehow and have you know the routine. You call me here at the office and you get Michelle, and Michelle could get a hold of me. And if I've got an email, to email them back as soon as I'm back in communication and where I have internet, then I can get back in touch with them. But that's probably the easiest process because I love passing more responsibility off onto you, brother.
Hey, well, all they got to do is email me at indianagoldhunter@gmail.com, and I can hook them up. So
good. Now, what if is that the same for if somebody was maybe coming down? Could they contact you and find out information, or maybe you can answer some questions they might have, or something like that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. That way, you never know.
And the reason I say go through Dennis, I would not mind putting my email address out there, but the problem I'm having right now, I'm spending 2 to 3 weeks in the field at a time, and I've been getting so many emails in my inbox, it's been shutting my email down, and then I don't get anything, and I don't know people that are trying to contact me, and of course they just assume that I'm being some type of an ass and not returning their message. I don't know if I can say that over there.
Right. No, it's like this guy we know, he has a voicemail, and he don't have it set up. It's kind of the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get my voicemail set up.
About that guy.
Every time you call him, I mean, he's had a phone since he was a child probably, but yeah, voicemail's still not set up. It's like, really? Yeah, so it ain't that, right, Dave? All right, cool. Good. Well, Dave, man, thank you, brother, for stopping by. You know, we appreciate it, and it's been an honor.
Man, it's great to be on with you guys.
And we know you've been out in the field, so we'll let you go. And man, I'm sure we'll have you back again up here in the future when, you know, I'm sure there'll be more controversy or more you could share with us about what's going on out there in Idaho, and you can stop by and let us know. That would be awesome.
And if you have any updates before then, to let me know, and I'll let Tim know, and we'll get you back on right away.
Heck yeah.
Sounds good. There are some things stirring in the weeds that I believe we'd like to share with the public. I just got to see what's going to happen. So, yeah, I'd be glad to come back in the near future and give you some updates and share with you what's going on out here.
Awesome, brother.
Anytime.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. We thank you for everything you're doing out there. And like I said, just keep us posted. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks for having me on tonight, guys, and you guys have a good evening. I think I'm going to go visit my shower. I haven't seen it in a few days, and it needs it.
Do it, brother.
Be safe.
Later, Dave.
You too.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Dave.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, buddy. All right, that was Dave Hembreewill, and he is the chairman on the board of directors for the 10 Mile Mining District. I got it right again, I think. Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good guess. Nice to hear. He had a lot of good information about that. That's for sure. Yeah. So very interesting. So let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with some birthdays, precious metal prices, and a whole lot more. We'll be right back, everybody.
Do you like to mine for gold? Enjoy prospecting a nice crack in the bedrock? Enjoy getting outdoors to camp, fish, hunt, and hike on your public lands? You plan your trip, load the gear, grab the dog, put the family in the truck, and drive off to a locked gate. A sign says you cannot enter or access your own public lands. Mining claims and public land owned by we the people are being designated as off limits by our own government every single day. Are you concerned about the direction our government is going? Are you tired of seeing no access, no entry signs on your lands? We are, and we are fighting back. We are AMRA, America Mining Rights Association, the fastest growing small mining advocacy association in America. AMRA is a 501c3 not-for-profit formed by miners, hunters, off-roaders, retired military men and women to stop the insanity. AMRA was formed to educate, unite, and help the small miners and public land users on their rights. Rights given to us by God. Do you want access to great mining claims? For a small tax-deductible donation to their Miners Legal Fund, your family gains access to proven excellent mining claims across America for an entire year. AMRA challenges the USFS, BLM, EPA, and the other agencies intent upon stopping you from enjoying your own lands. You are who pays these people's wages. It is time they listen to us. We need to unite. And that is what AMRA is doing. As you sit here right now, thousands of acres of public lands are being closed, locked, and blocked from use by you. Are you fed up yet? Join us. Get in on this fight, and let's restore America to what our families fought and died for. Freedom. Just visit AmericanMiningRights.com. AmericanMiningRights.com. Also, check us out on Facebook at American Mining Rights Association. AmericanMiningRights.com.
In 1858, gold was discovered in the rivers of New Caledonia. This discovery would spark a massive gold rush. Today, the search for gold is much easier, yet still challenging with Dirt Hog Pay Dirt. At Dirt Hog, we pride ourselves on our gold and guaranteed gold amounts. Just visit dirthogpaydirt.com today and buy yourself a bag of the best pay dirt concentrates on the market. Order with confidence in Canada and North America. DirtHogPayDirt.com. The best gold concentrates on the market, period. Also, be sure to check out our Honest Bonus program.
All right, everybody, we're back. And we want to welcome back Mr. Swiftwater's back tonight. Made it back home to Arizona, did you?
Yeah, I made it back.
Man, that's awesome. When did you get back home?
Friday sometime. I took off from Vegas about 5:30 in the morning. Got back here. I think it was before noon. I mean, I made pretty good time.
Probably feels good to be back home.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little hotter than Elk City. Let me just tell you that much. I mean,
yeah, you're in Arizona.
10, 15 degrees. But
you're in the desert. I bet it is warmer. What's the temperature down there, Scott, today?
Like I said, I think right now it's got to be 110.
Oh, jeez.
I think right now, yeah, and it's what time? 5:30 right now. So
5:30, 110 degrees. Jeez, oh man, that's a bit warm. Yeah, it brings out the moistness when it gets that warm.
Well, there ain't much
moistness.
We got rain yesterday, and like I said, there was a little planter thing half full of water, and that water's already dried up. So
I bet. Yeah.
The heat just sucks it away quick.
Sure
no moistness in Idaho. The only moistness you get is in the morning when it's like 42 degrees.
Morning moistness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with morning moistness.
Shoot, we had some good thunderstorms there.
Oh, in Idaho?
Oh yeah.
Ah, so it was really moist. Yeah. Really moist. Yes. I see. Oh man. Now, since Shad's not here, I guess we get to do the birthdays and precious metal prices.
Why, certainly.
So, Rich, you gonna do the birthdays?
Yeah, we're gonna have the singer sing.
Oh, is Dennis singing?
Oh, you know I'm singing.
I figured you was. We can't not have you not sing. So you ready?
I'm ready.
Take it away, Dennis.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, amazing.
Okay, birthdays for today. Angelo Casarino, Gold Fever, Jason Kincaid, J-Dog, Jimmy Zack, John Murphy, looks like Jules Westphalen, maybe, and Lou Ross, which Lou Ross has passed away in heaven, so happy birthday there, brother.
That's right.
And Vince. And birthdays tomorrow. Clyde Mason, Curtis Meebroom, Greg, Helen, Jack Stengel, Jim Lott, Larry Jean Knight, Martin Heckard, Matt, Philip Dressler, and Ronald Matthews.
All right, you
got them tomorrow. So happy birthday, everyone!
Happy birthday, everyone! You got one. You
just had a birthday yesterday, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, Timmy, happy birthday!
Well, thank you guys. I want to thank everybody for all the birthday wishes that they sent me. I really appreciate it. You know, really did. So thank you all so much. You know, pretty cool. Another year.
What are those prices like?
Oh, you're not going to review a page, Rich?
I can't get it on my page.
Roger.
Still spinning.
All right, Roger that. All right, well, here we go. Gold is up $2. It's at $14.41. Man, good Lord.
That's what I like to hear.
That is up there. Jeez Louise. Silver's down 11 cents, but it's still above $16. It's holding at $16.20. And then we got palladium. My eyes are so bad anymore. It dropped let me see. It dropped $8. It's down to $845. And then we got palladium. It was a big drop on palladium. It dropped $25. So it is down to $14.04. But gold looking good at $14.41. Man.
I wonder how long it's going to stay there, you know.
Oh, dude, it's going to keep going up. It's
I
gonna.
wish it would stay there.
It's gonna
between
hit
then and
1450.
October.
What's today? Sunday. By next Sunday, 1450. You think?
That'd be nice.
I think so. It's just, even if it climbs steady each day, we'll get up to 1450 by the end of the week.
Well, I hope it stays above 14 until October
Well, it get-
or April. Sorry,
I just
next
want it to
April.
keep pushing, keep going, get to 15. Let's hit that 15 mark. I mean, 1441 is pretty darn nice. You know?
Yeah.
Ain't it? I mean, really
Yes,
is.
it is.
It's real nice. And like everybody knows, the Biffles are still in Alaska, and we hope they're doing good and hope they're having a good time if they, by some chance, get to hear the show.
They've been posting stuff on their Facebook site, so if you're interested in see how they're doing, check out their Facebook.
Yep, check it out. You can see.
They have posted some gold.
They definitely have. And let's see what else we got going on. Oh, don't forget to tune in Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. Tuesday night hangouts with Ed, Jess, and Dano over there on their YouTube channel. I don't know who their guest is this week, but if I did, I would tell you. But hey, that's no reason not to go and check them out. Tuesday at 8 o'clock.
And we do have some upcoming guests coming up, so just stand by on that.
Oh, we do. We got some goodies coming up. I think I told everybody that Kevin Hoagland's going to be coming on in the next couple weeks, and then we got a couple other ones that I've been talking to, and Rich has talked to some people, so, you know, and
I've still been putting my feelers out there, but like I said, I'm back here in Arizona. It's really hot.
And
So if I come up with any, it's going to be a good surprise. So.
Cool. Well, all good, brother. I mean, we get them.
Yeah, we got a friend of mine from Aqualand Relics. He's metal detectors.
Mm-hmm.
So
That'll be
a
cool.
pretty good show with Mike.
Yeah.
And give him a shout out. So they just started this site here not too long ago, but he's from Maryland.
Okay.
I think Hagerstown, Maryland, I believe.
Well, that's cool.
And him and his boy, I believe, has been metal detecting there for years, and they're pretty good guys, and they have some YouTube channels and stuff. So
well, there you go.
Actually started their YouTube channel, Aqualand Relics.
Aqualand Relics. So that'll be cool. So, another show for the metal detectors that we have here listening every week.
And he needs some more subscribers.
Heck yeah. So
see that site, check them out.
Get over there and check them out. Yeah. You know.
What's
the name again, Rich?
Aqualand Relics.
Aqualand Relics. Like
HUUALAND Relics.
Give them a like, you guys. Get over there and subscribe. Check them out. You know, help out your fellow YouTubers. And
right now they got, I think, 700 subscribers, and I think they're probably doing a giveaway at 1,000. So.
Oh, nice. And I think old Jaron's up to about 900 and some. If you're not a subscriber on Jaron's page, get on over there and click and follow him too, and subscribe. And, you know, any of the members that have YouTube channels, you know, try to do your best to subscribe to their pages and help them out. You know,
I seen some nice nuggets there on Mac Hospodar on Virginia Gold Prospectors. He was out metal detecting again. He had a Gold Monster 1000. In about an hour and a half, he was detecting a 5 square feet area and got like 5 or 6 pickers. Like, they look kind of like a little nuggets to me, but they're definitely nice pickers. So
okay. And
he's been doing good in Virginia.
Nice. That's cool. And yeah, we had Matt on our show before, right?
Yeah, we had Matt on.
Yeah, we did, definitely. And
he was the geologist.
Right, yes. Okay, cool. And also, Ed and Jess and Dano's guest will be 3B Diggin' Canada.
Good job reading that one.
Did I get it right, Scott?
That's what I looked at. 3B Diggin' Canada.
3B Diggin' Canada. That's going to be their guest over there on their Tuesday night hangouts with Ed, Jess, and Dano. So.
I'm expecting a trio here, you guys.
I would think that too. If it 3B.
3B digging in Canada.
3B digging in Canada, man. I'm telling you. Man, there you go. So check them out. You know, every Tuesday. Oh, mercy. And let me think. What else do we got happening? There's a lot going on. Do you have any events to read, Rich?
Let me see if there's any new ones.
All right. I wonder, did they get the Gold Rush one posted yet?
Yeah, I believe they did.
Okay.
I know in Arizona it's a swimming pool. Period.
That's the only outing in Arizona.
Yeah, you still have that Muskellong State Park one, August 2nd to
Uh-huh.
August 4th. You have the IGP, which is the Indiana outing, which will be on August 17th to August 18th. You have the 2019 annual Ohio Gold Rush Days.
Woohoo!
That is Labor Day weekend, August 31st to September 1st.
Nice.
They got a bunch of stuff planned for that, so click that and read it, and it's got a lot of stuff going on there. Then September 14th and 15th, you have the LDMA at Athens Camp. Then you have an annual Rock and Gem Mineral Show on November 22nd.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So,
Those are always nice, right?
Yep.
Pretty cool. Dennis, you making it up to any of these events? You can make it up to Gold Rush?
Oh yeah, I'm going to Gold Rush.
You
I
planning
haven't
on
been
it?
there in a couple of years. So.
Yeah, you haven't. Yeah, that's true. You have not. So that'll be
No,
cool.
I have not.
It'll come quick. I mean, here we are, August 4th right now. Summer's
Yeah, 3-4 weeks away, and
Fading
Gold Rush
fast.
Day a month away.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's nuts. And then summer will be gone before you know it. Seems like it just got here and just goes too quick, don't it?
I'm telling you, yeah.
You guys, it's nuts. It is
Ooh.
crazy. Crazy.
Crazy.
Yes.
I hated to leave Idaho, though.
Well, I bet you did, but
Yeah, I so much still to explore, on the claim that we camped at. I don't know if I said it or not. We actually have there's an adit up there on our claim, and myself and Dave, we did some exploring trying to find it.
right.
We didn't find it, but hopefully next year, because I know Dave Hembreewill is a very busy man when he's there, so hopefully we can get him to maybe take us on a little exploration and go check out the adit that's up there.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. That's it. That's the only bad thing about having a property that far away. It's like, it's not like you're just coming to Ohio or going to Indiana. It's, it's a long ways unless you wanted to jump on a plane and fly down more often and,
Right.
screw around for a
So
long
beautiful
weekend
out
or
there,
something. Man. Yeah, I mean, which you could always do that if you can, that would be cool. And
Yeah.
I mean, nothing wrong with that. So
No.
you always have that option. So that's cool. But I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad all you guys did. And like I said, I hope the Biffles are having a great time at getting that gold and seeing Alaska. So that's cool.
I know I
had over 3 hours of video, or right at 3 hours of video. I got one ready to upload. Haven't uploaded it yet, so I called it Idaho Gold Episode 1.
Oh,
It's about 25 minutes on the first one, so I'll have probably a few episodes that I'll be putting out of our Idaho trip.
I bet. Now, did either one of you? I know Scott, Dennis. I told you guys I wanted to see your blind Facebook Live gold panning. I haven't seen it yet.
We're doing that at Gold Rush Days, Tim. Me, you. We're going to be doing that at Gold Rush Days.
Are you going to do it at Gold Rush Days?
Yes, we are going to do it at Gold Rush Days. Yep.
Okay. Okay. All right. I don't know if I could do it with a gimp arm, but
If I'm going Facebook Live and doing it, you're doing it with
I
me.
can hold the camera for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can. I could be your cameraman for that episode.
I think we'll go YouTube Live.
Can't you do them both?
We've got two phones.
Okay. We'll have two phones. Mine and yours.
That'll work.
I'll go Facebook Live and you go YouTube Live. And we'll
That'll work.
do it. We'll
Do it.
do
Just
it.
do it.
Live.
Do it. Just do it, man. Do it.
Live. None of that recorded crap. Live. I want to see that stuff live. So
That's just funny.
calling them out now. Calling them all out. I want live ones. Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Either way. Make it happen.
It can happen.
Make it happen. That's right. Mm-hmm. Mercy. So what else has been happening with you guys? Ow.
I'm going crabbing next week.
Oh, you are, Rich. Next week?
Yeah, I'm also gonna do something I've never did before.
What's that?
I've heard so many people talk about it. I've seen so many YouTube videos on it.
What?
I'm going magnet fishing.
Oh, you're gonna do it, dude?
Man, I've been wanting to do that too.
Me
That
too.
looks like so much
I'm
fun.
going to a pier down in Maryland, down there, and we're going to be crabbing. And I know daggone well I lost a couple traps off of that pier. Because when I threw the rope out, I tied the rope to the pier. And when I wung the trap out, the end of the trap line broke off from the rope and went flying through the water. So I'm going basically
Trap fishing.
Pot
to be able
fishing.
to try to find out some crab traps and find any fishing poles or anything that somebody threw off the pier.
Watch if Rich is going to come back with 120 traps.
Yep, his truck will be full of crab traps. It look like a
I
crabber.
really wanted some nice ones, the small ones that are real heavy, that can pick up like 100 pounds at least.
Dang.
But I went to Harbor Freight. I couldn't get one in time because I'm leaving Friday, so
Right.
I couldn't get one in time. So I basically went to Harbor Freight and bought one of their little retrieving magnets for
Okay.
the same thing. I think they call it.
Mm-hmm.
I just typed in like fishing magnets and it come up with these. They have two types there. They have basically one for 150 pounds and one for 250 pounds.
Okay.
And that thing's pretty daggone heavy.
Sure.
But I was reading reviews on it and it probably won't pick up anything over 80 pounds, but that's fine. I don't want to lift 80 pounds up over a pier anyway.
Right,
so.
exactly. Some fishing rods, pocket knives, stuff like that. Yeah, that's cool.
I'm just curious to see what's off
Dude.
the end of the pier,
Dude, I know. I want to do it
Fishing
too.
rods came out or,
I know. That's the same
try to
thing.
clean the water out a little bit.
Heck yeah, see, exactly. You're cleaning out the water, and you never know what you'll find, man. Make sure you let us know, because I've always wanted to do that. I've been seeing more and more things about it, magnet fishing.
Yeah,
magnet fishing.
I've been watching a lot of sites and a lot of Germany and Britain and all these places. They go down their local rivers and they're pulling out guns and crossbows and safes with jewelry in them and all kinds of stuff people are fun.
I don't know.
Yeah, you notice those are the only stories that make the show, though.
Yeah.
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 But thousands of times they threw and got nothing. So.
Oh, I bet. Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I guess if you find a gun, don't you got to take it to the police station? And,
Yeah, you're supposed to, yeah.
so they can check, see if it was used in a crime or anything.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So, yeah, but still cool. I think it'll be fun. And you'll be
Yeah, that's what I'm going to
fishing.
do. I'm going to eat some crabs. Hopefully we'll catch some crabs so I can eat some.
Yeah.
Don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but
Right.
hopefully we'll catch some crabs and I'll do a little bit of pier
magnet fishing. Pretty cool.
When you go down there for crabs, just go to the store and look for melt.
What's melt?
It's like a bunch of beef scraps thrown into a thing, a chunk of meat. You cut it and you put it in there, and it's melt and chicken works great for crabs.
Oh.
I use chicken necks.
Chicken necks?
Yep.
Okay.
So we always use the legs because it was a little stronger, but
I use chicken necks.
Just hang them in the trap.
Give off the oil.
Yeah,
from
right.
the
It's
chicken neck.
all about the oil, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, heck, that is cool, man. Nice. Do it. And
Oh, Rich, if you want to see something cool, look up long lining crabs. That's really cool.
Long what?
Long lining.
Long lining crab.
Yeah.
Okay.
long lining crabs?
Yeah, they're a trout line for crabs, and all you do is you just run this line, you turn around and you run it back, because whatever went back behind you went down to the ground. There's already a crab back on it sitting there eating.
Oh, okay.
They keep hanging on. Crabs don't like to let go of food.
Right.
So when it gets up to the top, you just take a net, boom, get them out, put them in a box, boom, put them out. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. See?
Well, being off the pier, we got to use like a 12-foot net, or
No.
and then scoop them up. Unless you're using a trap, then you just pull the trap
Pull
up.
a trap up, right.
But we use traps and hand lines.
Right. You just lower the line
We
into
like
the water.
to use hand lines too. So.
That would be fun like that, yeah.
No cast nets.
No, I don't think you're allowed cast nets down there.
Hmm.
And then plus, the only traps you're allowed to use is the ones that the crab can get out of. You're not allowed to have in the box traps that have the swinging door on them.
Uh-huh.
Right.
You're allowed to have the ones that you throw and they collapse, and then when you pull on them, they close up.
Oh, you're okay. So you're
That's allowed. That's the only ones you're really allowed to have.
Yeah, you can put them off the ends of fishing poles too.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
We
weird.
just throw ours out.
Mm-hmm.
I got like 50-foot line, and I throw them out off the pier, tie the end to the pier, and throw them out, and however far they go, and then they sink, and leave them out there for about 5-10 minutes, and make your rounds.
That's it? 5 or 10
Basically,
minutes?
start down at one end of your lines,
Okay.
pull them, check them, go to the next one, pull them, check them, go to the next one, and just keep doing that. By the time you get back to the first one, there's already crabs in it.
Wow. That's amazing. You know,
You just keep doing that for a couple hours till you get tired and take a break.
get you a big bucket full of crabs, right?
Yeah.
Is there
Oh, we did pretty good in October last year, so I don't know what it's going to be like this year. They say the crabs are running pretty good, but
they have a limit on them, Rich?
yeah, our license, I think we're allowed 2.5 dozen a day.
Oh, okay.
Each.
Wow.
Yeah, each.
Well, man, that's a lot of crabs.
Are these blue crabs you're grabbing?
Yeah.
Man,
And
look
you're
up.
only allowed males. You got to
What?
throw the females back.
Yeah, watch for the busters.
What do you
For the
mean?
What?
What's,
Watch for the ones that's going into getting ready to pop into soft shell crab.
Mm.
how do you know what
I don't know
that
anything
is?
about that.
Yeah, what's that, Scott?
There'll
Explain.
be a red line around the foot of the back foot, which we call the back fin, but it's not a fin, it's a foot, but that's what they swim with. There'll be a red line around that, and if you put it in a tank like an aquarium or a shallow little holding tank out in the sun,
Mm-hmm.
in 2 or 3 days they'll bust open, and then when they get big, you grab them. You check every 4 hours, because when they bust open, you don't want them to get hard again, because they get hard with the UV rays from the sun. The shell will get hard again, but they'll be twice the size. But if you grab them early enough and put them in a freezer, you could sit there and you could have them in a freezer, and then they stay soft shell. And then all you got to do is deep fry them. You eat the whole thing, guts and all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got to take the inside, the fingers out.
Right.
Dead man fingers. But after that, you fry the whole thing, shell and all, and it's soft shell crab's awesome.
Mm.
Well, man.
Yeah, I know. I love them. I can eat probably about a dozen and a half myself.
Dang.
If not
Yep.
more.
Dang.
No, they're really rich, and they really fill you up too. I mean, if you get
like
some big males. I mean, I've
Yeah.
ate 2 males and it's filled me up.
See, I would just like to catch them and then give them away because I wouldn't eat them because I don't like crab.
You guys are just making me hungry.
Oh, dude, I had some awesome chili dogs and corn on the cob, and finally got a friggin' Ohio tomato. Finally, it was like, geez, but we went to the little produce stand. They charged $2.50 for one stinking tomato. I'm like,
What?
you can buy a whole basket of them for $2.50.
I was gonna say you need to get them from the roadside guy.
I know, but there ain't no roadside guys around here. There's one stand, and it was like 8 miles away, and this produce farm, $2.50 a piece for tomatoes. Corn was 90 cents an ear. I'm like, I could get a whole dozen of it for $2.50 off the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
You know? I'm
I got plenty of tomatoes coming out my ears.
yeah, that's the first ones I've had. We bought 2 of them. I was like, they were huge, but I was like, $2.50 a piece is a little ridiculous, but they were delicious. With some chili dogs. Oh man, that was good.
I got a friend of mine in Indiana. He does that. He'll sell the produce out of the back of his truck
Oh,
and
yeah.
off the table. And I told him, I said, man, you could just travel. If you get a truckload, just travel. Go do 4 counties in 4 days.
They usually don't need to, do they? They usually can empty out the truck in a day in one spot.
Yeah, but I mean, you could if you could move a lot of truck, if you have a whole truck and you go to one county and you move it that whole day, pick up another truck the next day and go to another county and move it, that'd be worth it. You don't want to, once you went to the same spot, you're going to think it's a hot spot, but the next day it's going to be dull.
I mean, it was good corn, but not 90 cents an ear corn. I mean, that's crazy.
That's store prices here. In
Yeah,
Phoenix,
right.
but
It's
I think we
above
get 'em
store
cheaper here.
prices. It's above store prices. But,
Yeah, I think we get it cheaper here.
Yeah, that's what I was telling her. I was like, wow, it's steep, but let's get it.
I think in our Walmart they're selling them like 25 cents an ear or 30 cents an ear.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know this came right from this farm, and it's like, okay, it's
Well, since
good.
you guys are talking about food and produce, I'm going to tell you one thing that just happened. There's a guy that comes just about every year. He advertises on, like, social media, Facebook and stuff. He comes down to the Rural King down here in Columbus, and he always carries and has a truckload full of South Carolina peaches. Now, for all you ones that eat peaches and think that Georgia peaches are the best, oh boy, you ever had South Carolina peaches, you know that they're a whole lot better.
Oh yeah, we did buy a thing of peaches too. Thanks, Dennis.
Those South Carolina peaches are by far the best.
Oh well, yeah, it's more south. I bet they would be. You know, yeah, it's just crazy. But yep, we bought some peaches. Peaches were more reasonable priced than corn and tomatoes. You know, it was like, God, it's a tomato for crying out loud. You know.
It's a tomato.
It's a tomato, dude. It's like people will be giving them away in another 3 weeks because they'll have so many they can't eat them all. You know?
See, the only thing I can't get out here is green tomatoes. I mean, I could if I guess I went down to the produce market somewhere downtown, but yeah.
They had some of them too, but I don't like green tomatoes. And then they had green beans, and I was like, well, I'd like to get some of them, but not at that price. I'll stop at the Amish market when I'm out that way this week and get some there. Everything's cheaper out there anyway. And probably get some tomatoes too. Man, I'm telling you, it's just nuts. I just had to gripe about that a little bit. You know, finally got one.
It's like fried green tomatoes. That's the only,
a lot of people do. I never liked them. You know.
Well, you gotta. I always said this when I was a kid. If you try to cut them thick and cook them you just ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got an 1/8 inch thick. You know, they got to be like a chip. And if you over fry it, you know right away because they'll curl up on you. So you cut an 8-inch thick, and they'll stay flat in the plate. Fry them both till the stuff's crispy. They'll be awesome, Tim.
Well, that's what I mean. A lot of people like them. I just never liked the taste of them. You know, I just didn't.
It's like people in catfish. They try to do a whole catfish fillet over a fire in the oven, and it always comes out, it's always got that soggy, wet taste in the middle of it. I'm like, man, put that stuff in chunks and fry it fast.
Yeah.
It'll come out white and fluffy every time.
There you go. There you go.
I do my famous grilled tomatoes.
You grill just regular red tomatoes?
Yep.
And what do they got on them, Rich?
I basically take tomatoes and slice them thick, and I pour olive oil all over them, and oregano, salt, and pepper on both sides. Put them on the grill. I basically have a little tray that I put them on so they don't fall through the grill. It's like a wire mesh tray.
Right.
And I grill them on the one side. As soon as they start to get a little bit soft, I flip them. And then right away, I'll take mozzarella cheese and put it over top of them, and then close the lid, steam them, and take them off. And they melt in your mouth.
That sounds pretty good, because I like red tomatoes. So that sounds good.
I do the same with zucchini also.
I don't like zucchini.
Slice the zucchini real long and do the same thing with them, but I don't put cheese on them.
Yeah, I guess you got to like zucchini for that, though. I don't
like
zucchini.
You guys ever had zucchini squash? Or spaghetti squash?
Nope. Nasty.
My grandma used to eat that on the farm. It's actually pretty good. It tastes like spaghetti, and you put butter and salt and pepper across top of it.
It really tastes like spaghetti.
Yeah, and it looks like spaghetti.
I know it looks like it.
Yeah, you take the inside out, but I think it tastes like a spaghetti noodle. You put butter and salt and pepper on it, and man, it's pretty good.
Dang.
And me, I was a picky kid growing up about vegetables. There's some I just don't touch.
That's
like
me.
beets.
I'm still like that. You know? I ain't eating no dang asparagus. I ain't eating cauliflower. No, I ain't eating none of that crap. You know, cucumbers, tomatoes, green beans. That's about it. I'm not big on it. I'm not. That's
Did we hear anything about California yet, about the moratorium?
Not yet. Shannon will be coming on, and probably in about 2 weeks, Shannon's going to be stopping by on a Wednesday night. So if they want to check in then and ask us, then we'll ask Shannon, and we'll let him answer that.
Oh, he's going to be on this Wednesday night?
Not this Wednesday. He said probably like the 12th, 13th, that Wednesday. He will be giving us a call while he's out doing the Walk for Liberty, and let us know how that's going, and then he can answer that question, I'm sure. So that's cool. And I'm trying to think what else we have to report on. Nothing that I can think of. What do you guys got? Anything else that we need to report on tonight?
No, not me.
Pretty much covers everything. right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Well, don't forget to join us Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for West Coast Wednesdays. Scott will be here. Dennis, you going to be here?
I should be.
Because you work midnights now, right?
Yep, midnight date, unless there's any overtime, which I don't think there is, so I should be here.
Cool. All right, so be here if you can. Rich will be here, and I'll be here as well.
Yep.
And, heck, never know. Maybe Rich may have a Cooley's Corner Wednesday. We'll mix things up this week while Kathleen and Shad are gone.
Swiftwater is going to be on too, right?
Yeah, Swifty will be here. Maybe he'll have
And
something.
if he wants to have something, he can bring something too.
Heck, yeah. Yeah, we'll just...
I always have my lost treasures on reserve. So.
Oh, that's right. That's
I'll see
right.
I'll see what I can throw together.
Lost Treasures
All right,
is...
we'll wing it, guys.
You want to do Lost Treasures Wednesday, Dan?
You can if you want.
Okay. And yeah, because didn't we
Let's just see what Scott's got first, and if
All right.
nothing, then
If Scott ain't got nothing, we'll do Lost Treasures Wednesday.
Yeah, like if I can't find anything that'll equal up to the Lost Treasures thing, Dennis can go ahead and throw that in there. That's cool.
Cool. That'll work.
'cause we did the survey and
Yeah.
and last show, and I've got it ready to go. So
All right, cool. Then we'll do that Wednesday if Scott ain't got nothing. Awesome, brother. I like it. So be sure to tune in Wednesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll be here. We'll be live like always. Thanks again for joining us. Have a great week, everybody. We're out of here. Take us out of
good
here,
night,
guys.
Gold Digger.
Good night, gold diggers.
Be sure to tune in next Sunday at 7:30 for another great show. For updates and more info, please go to www.prospectorsradio.com.